Hello.
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 How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
We're
Good. I'm
good.
David. This is Grace. Thank you so much for doing this. This is by far the coolest background
I
of I
was
think
just
anyone
about to
we've ever
say
talked
you,
to.
yeah, not us gonna, we're gonna get distracted being like, should we get that tattoo?
Yeah, I'll show you around.
Yes, please do. Where are we talking to you from? You're in the East Coast, right?
Yes, upstate New York, a few like 30 minutes south of Albany.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is the weather, my family's from Pennsylvania, and then I have a friend of mine, a coworker who's kind of in the Virginia area, and she said they're having like tornado warnings there.
we're okay this week. We
Yeah.
were pretty frigid for a while there, but we have been really lucky with our winters for the past few years,
That's
so
good.
we needed a little
Yeah.
coldness.
Yeah. Are you from California originally?
Yeah, I grew up there. I moved to Long Island when I was 22, and then I moved up here 7-ish years ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we did the opposite
I
because
was gonna
Grace and I
say
are
we
both
flip
from
flop.
cold places and moved to LA. So,
Yeah.
You did the smart thing. I
yeah,
did the dumb.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey, some would say because they're to each their own, right? Like there are some
Yeah.
people that appreciate having the different times of year and just the different vibe. I feel like there's a
That's what
very different
they
vibe.
all say here. Like, we love the seasons. And then when the seasons happen, they're like, this sucks. I'm like, well,
Mhm.
You
It's
can't
very
have it
true.
all.
It's very true.
Well, thank you again so much for doing this. A little bit about our podcast. It's called Back to the Best. We talk about like all our favorite shows and movies from growing up, which obviously you're a huge part of with the Disney Channel movies, the au pair movies. So thank you so much for taking your time and doing
I
this.
know, is that just so cringy to hear?
no, it's cool. You
Yeah,
know, it was a huge part of my life at one time, and it's cool to know that it mattered to somebody, some people, you know?
it did. I know we were like, looking stuff up and like I saw some video on TikTok and it was just like, Katie, everybody's little sister.
That was me.
That was you. That was you.
Yeah, I mean, have you found since streaming's come around and people are just rediscovering everything? I mean, kids that weren't even born when these movies came out, have you found that to be a little bit bizarre, realizing that there's kind of a new fan base and a new appreciation for the projects you worked on?
A little bit recently. So I have a 10-year-old daughter,
No.
and her teacher decided that she was going to show Smart House in class. And I was like,
Wow.
what? Why? Why though?
Why?
Yeah, what was the class?
Just regular
Just
class.
regular, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because like about the technology or whatever. I don't think they actually got to it, but she came home and she told me, and I was going, oh, I don't know even know how to react to that.
That
You
is a
know?
weird
All
thing.
right. Yeah. And then go in because I do like art projects in the class and stuff like
Oh,
that.
cool.
And it's like,
Oh,
yeah, that's
cool.
me.
That was me. Had your daughter seen the movie?
She's seen Smart House. We haven't seen a bunch of them
Yeah.
because I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
You're probably
yeah,
like, we could do something else on the weekend.
yeah. And there's so much now for kids that
Sure.
it's like, yeah, anybody could be on TV. You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
she cares. She like cares, but not in a weird way, I guess. You
That's good.
know,
I feel like
yeah,
that's healthy.
yeah,
Yeah. And that is an interesting point. You're right. Because if any kid has a phone, it's basically like being on TV. You could
yeah,
figure it out
yeah.
yourself.
No, it was a big deal back then. I was
It really
Yeah.
was.
I
miles
know.
at one point.
Yeah. People had to go to open casting calls. You had to do things in person. You couldn't just
Yep.
hop on a Zoom and show them who you are.
Nope.
Yeah.
Whole different world.
Speaking of that, how did you get started? Do you remember going to auditions, sitting in these waiting rooms with a bunch of other
So,
kids?
how I got started, I was 4 years old. I was in a wedding for, I believe, my cousin. I'm not sure which one. And someone who worked for, obviously, we all know Candace Cameron and Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
Their mom was an agent.
Okay.
And someone who worked for her was at the wedding. This may not be entirely factual. I don't quite remember the entire thing, but this
Well,
is what.
especially if you were four. Yeah, we don't blame you.
Yeah,
Um,
that's okay.
and so I was a flower girl, and they were like, "Oh, that's cute. We like that." And they asked my mom if I would be interested, or that we would be interested in it, and my mom was like, "No, absolutely not, not a chance." And somehow they got our, home phone number because
Uh-huh.
that's the only thing we had.
Mhm.
And they called a few times, and my mom kept being like, "No, dude, absolutely not.
Hmm.
Just she's gonna be a regular kid, whatever." And then they said, like, "Listen, how about this? We'll send her out on one thing. If she books it, we're not fooling with you.
Hmm.
And if she doesn't, we'll leave you alone." And bada bing, bada boom, got the first thing, and then that
Wow.
was that. Yeah. But just to go off of that, my mom and my dad were never stage parents, this like
Mhm.
scary kind.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Mhm.
Like
gonna put that
forcing
out.
you to do
You
it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine though your parents obviously like had to go to everything with you. Did they enjoy that part of it, like going to set with you and things like that?
My mom was the one who did the majority of it. My dad was the worker
Okay.
fella because we were, back. I mean, every kid actor now, since the 80s, right? All their money has to go into, the trust
Hmm.
fund thing that you can't touch till you're 18. And obviously back then also the money was not the same as the money is now.
Sure.
So someone had, and we were not like a well-off family by any stretch of the imagination. We were fine, but someone had to be working. And my mom was the one who did it with me, and she was there always and made sure, I mean, I never had to experience any of the things that we're hearing about these
Good.
days.
Yeah.
Good.
So we just enjoyed it. I got to travel the world at a young age and work and get a work ethic and had fun. And then when I decided it was time to be done, I got to be done.
I love that.
It's
I
a
love,
very healthy way to go about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no like realization of any of the weirdness that could happen to a kid
That
world.
alone says so much about your parents not
Mhm.
allowing that to happen to you as well, which is
Mhm.
great.
And I went to regular school. I had,
Oh, okay.
normal friends. And, when I wasn't working, it was just straight up kid stuff.
Okay, so with school then, like, would you have to go back and forth? Like, would you still do like onset school or was it just regular school?
Yeah. So depending on the age of a kid in while you're working, you have to have, I believe it was 3 hours of school a day.
Okay,
So that was in addition to like not in it was included in the amount of time you were allowed to work.
got it.
So sometimes they would roll it into like another day. It just, depended on the day. Like per week, you had a set amount of time that you had to be in school, doing school. And luckily, my school that I went to was very cool with getting together the work that I
Hmm.
had to do. And we would, for the most part, we were in LA or around LA working. So we could just go hand it into the school when
Oh,
it
that's
was.
nice.
Oh, okay. Such a different, more like flexible style of schooling
Yeah,
and learning.
Yeah, it was pretty easy peasy. And if like there's onset teachers or whatever,
sure.
and I worked with the same one like multiple times, so they kind of knew what was going on and
Yeah.
all that.
Hmm.
Now, you played obviously the little sister so well in like Brink and Smart House. Do you have older siblings in real life?
No, I'm the only one.
Only one?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, and only
Well, you fooled us.
made it easier.
yeah.
There was no kid that wasn't getting attention.
There you go. There you go.
So when the script or however Brink came across your plate, were you a Disney fan at all? Did you have excitement to maybe try to get that project?
I do not remember because I was
Fair.
Mhm.
only
Which
Fair.
is fair.
I think because if I recall, Brink was one of the first Disney Channel original movies.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that like, oh, dang, I'm gonna be on this thing. It was just like, yeah, it's a rollerblader movie. I was really into rollerblading. So
Oh,
that
okay.
was
Okay, there we go.
what I was very excited about.
Oh, I bet.
One of the Power Rangers was in it, so pretty sick.
Oh my God,
Rollerblading
yeah.
Power Rangers. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do you need?
And also that was only a 2-day shoot for me.
Was that
So
it?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was only in the house and at the like skate event thing.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they do that so that they don't have to call you back a million times.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's true.
I would imagine with Smart House, you were there a lot more than 2 days.
I was, but the studio was 10 minutes away from my house.
Oh,
Oh, that's
yeah.
that's
great.
convenient.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, because we've also read and heard, like when Disney would put out these Disney Channel original movies, especially, they seem to have such a solid process. They didn't seem to take that long. That they
Oh,
seemed a lot quicker than you would imagine it would take
Mhm.
to make an entire movie.
yes. Smart House, I believe, was only a month and a half shoot
Wow.
because it was all, I mean, except for the outside shots of the original house, like where we lived
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
beginning, and the interior of that, everything else was soundstage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It was
obviously in Smart House, like they might have shown to your daughter's class, there was a lot of interesting technology going on for the
That's
time.
so good.
And different things that were featured in the movie, which is, of course, kind of the point. Since it was a 90s, early 2000s movie, do you remember what any of the special effects were like? Because, of course, today they pretty much just do everything, I think, in CGI, but there might have been more practical things that they had done.
there were obviously a lot of green screen was going
Hmm.
on.
Yeah.
And the practical effects, like you remember the oranges shooting out during the
Hmm.
scene?
Yeah.
So there was an orange cannon that
Oh.
they brought in. And the dad, Kevin Kilner, who was a great dude, like
Hmm.
had to, I remember them telling him, like, you have to pull her down in time because this cannon's on a timer. And if you guys get hit with
Oh,
this,
God.
you're going to really, really hurt.
Oh,
Oh
And
no.
my gosh.
so he like pulled me down and obviously as a full grown man and like landed on my leg. And I just remember that part being like, well, at least it's not an orange
But
to my face.
Yeah.
orange
Because
cannon
they
right there.
weren't
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were like balls, like
Oh.
SD. And other than that, I mean, like the party scene where Pat takes the stuff down, that was I think a full day because we had to dirty everything up
Oh.
and then they had to like
Mm.
film it being taken away in succession, kind of
Wow.
Mhm.
come down. And that's really everything else was pretty much green screeny
Yeah.
stuff. When the skull comes in, when Pat's trying to
Oh.
scare the bully, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
just a light bulb on a pole.
Oh,
Oh.
really?
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I still to this day wish so much that like whenever Pat can just clean the house so quick, I still wish that that was
Oh.
Yeah.
real. And I don't know why it's
That's
not.
the one that I would immediately be like, sign me up. Let's
Yeah,
go.
right now.
Especially-
That one, and especially as a kid, I was so envious of your bedroom when your whole wall would just turn into like the aquarium or
Oh,
it would be like a music
yeah.
video. That's the dream.
Yeah.
you jumping on the bed in that bedroom singing "Say La Vie" is such like a memory of watching that movie because I was obsessed with that song as well.
That was probably the most nervous I've ever been.
Really?
More,
Mm.
well, as in that time period, I've been much
Yeah.
more nervous as a grown up. But they don't play the music out loud. It's just in your ear. So I had to, just be bouncing on the bed, singing away. But what they did for me, LeVar Burton directed that, which,
Oh my God.
just
Yeah.
the guy of guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He decided for me that only the necessary crew was going to be there. So it wasn't
Oh,
everyone in there for me to have to sing in front of.
that's nice.
Hmm.
So he made sure it was as comfortable as possible for
I
that.
love that he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like your own silent disco.
Yeah. Yep.
No one else could hear.
Also, LeVar Burton directing, like, I mean, I don't know about both of you, but like Reading Rainbow, we watch all the time at school.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have been freaking out if I got to set and realized that's who the director was.
Well, I think it took me a minute.
Hmm.
Going, wait, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me? So it was pretty sick. And he was great. I turned 10 while we were filming, and he got me birthday presents and
Aw.
stuff. So that
Oh,
was
nice. And even working with some of the other casts, like I love Katie Seagal. I mean, of course she was Pat and Ryan Merriman. Was the chemistry just pretty easy for everyone? Did everyone just kind of get along really well from the start?
We didn't super interact with Katie
Hmm.
Mm,
because I think that was kind of the point.
Yeah.
You know, to keep, and she also only, I believe she was only there for 1 week of filming.
okay.
To keep us separate, so there was that weirdness,
Yeah.
between us.
Yeah.
So I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't really interact with her outside of scene stuff.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think about that, but probably to help you guys just be like kind of
But
freaked out by
yeah,
Pat.
Had she recorded all of her voices like that you would hear while you were filming, or was it just like someone off to the side just reading a script for you to react to?
I feel like it was just the script person saying the lines.
Okay.
If I remember, because I don't think she had gone in and done her recordings yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But as far as Ryan, we had very much a sibling ish relationship.
Hmm.
I'm sure I was an annoying younger sibling, and he was definitely, he had some older brother tendencies as well,
Yeah.
so it worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially anything like that where you're spending so much time together, even if it's only for a month, I would imagine you guys were just together like nonstop because all of your scenes were
Yeah.
with each
Well, they
other.
had so many teenagers on
Mm.
the set, and they had a separate teenager teacher, and
Oh,
I
okay.
had a separate younger person
Got
teacher.
it.
So we actually didn't spend that much time together, but when we could screw around and stuff, yeah, we were out,
Yeah.
doing dumb
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when we also love au pair, and when that came across your plate, I mean, talk about being a kid just getting to travel like that.
Yeah.
Had you traveled a lot beforehand, or was this just like a big opportunity all around?
No, I had traveled to several states because I was also a like a kid model for like
Okay.
talent
Mm,
and stuff like that. So I had traveled states, but I had never been out of the country before.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so what happened with that, I was not the first choice for au pair. The person who, I can't remember who it was, had to drop out for like a bigger project.
Oh,
And they called us, I believe it was 4 days before we had to leave for Hungary. And neither my mom nor I had a passport.
I was
oh no.
just wondering that. Yeah, I
Travel.
wouldn't have had a passport at that age.
Yeah. And so luckily it was the 90s, so things were quicker.
Sure.
And so we had to go to, I believe, like the embassy and the passport office in like one day and like hope and pray that it got faxed in time because no email, like
Uh,
all that stuff. And also living in Southern California, had to scramble to purchase winter coats and all the things you could possibly need in Hungary. And 4 days later, we were in Hungary.
that's crazy. How long were you over there for?
That was a month and a half as well, I believe. Maybe a little bit longer. There was also a week in Paris
I was gonna
because it
ask
was,
if you ever got to
Yeah.
actually go to Paris.
yeah, because they did it was set in Paris,
Hmm.
but we filmed in Hungary because it's much cheaper and there were no unions there at the time.
Okay.
Um, so it makes things easier for filming.
Yeah.
And then they did the B-roll in Paris, and I think it was only myself and Jake, who played my brother,
Hmm.
Hmm.
that were over there because we did all the like weird shots, doing like our shenanigans and stuff. And we did that for one day, but they let us stay in Paris for the rest of the week
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
and see it and do all cool stuff because it was the Sabans who owned Fox Family at the time.
Sure.
They were just a family company, so they were like, "Yeah, hang out,
That's
do
so
whatever."
nice.
Oh, that's so nice because you're kids as well, and you have this
Yeah,
amazing opportunity in Paris. Just let them enjoy it.
yeah.
Seriously.
We got
Yeah.
to go to Disneyland Paris, did
Oh,
Oh,
all the fun
so
things.
fun.
Yeah.
David and I were in Disneyland Paris one time and it rained the entire time.
yeah, we still
Yeah, it
we
was
still had the best time.
Had the
yeah.
best time, but it
Yeah.
poured. But
Yeah.
it's fine. Just
Yeah.
got ponchos and just went with it.
Do you remember, was it like super quick after the first one came out that they announced that there was going to be a sequel?
I think there was 2 years in between.
2 years? Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure when we found out it was going to happen again. Um, yeah, I don't quite remember when, but I think we kind of all knew
Yeah.
what the reception was, what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because also, this, obviously is a nepotism thing, but not like whatever. Everything is. Who cares?
Yeah. Literally.
Literally. Yeah.
The nanny, Heidi Leinhardt, that's the Saban's daughter.
Okay.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So if it did well, it was going again.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
And then again, who cares about everything in the world?
Literally every single
Oh, it's all about who
every
you know.
field.
It's all
Yeah.
about connections.
Yeah.
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 Because then there was a pretty big gap, though, between the second and the third. Was it just like they just kind of like rolled around to wanting to do a third one? Do you know anything about that?
So the Sabans had sold to Disney, right?
Mhm.
To ABC, and then Disney bought ABC, right? And the first two au pairs people really, really liked. I think they were just really nice family movies that you could sit down, and they were funny and not mean and
Yeah.
just were nice. And so people really, really liked them, and people would write in to be like, please do a third one, We want to know what happens. And, we kept hearing that. I had already quit acting by that point, pretty much right after the second one. And, kept hearing like titters of it. And we're just at a certain point, it's like, that's never going to happen.
Sure.
And then I got a call and they want to do a third one, and they wanted the original cast. And at first I was a senior in high school. I had no interest in being in that world, not for no reason, just I wasn't on that track.
Yeah.
Then they told me that it was going to be in Puerto Rico, and during the last month of my senior year of high school. And I said, I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Could be
go
a nice break.
Yeah.
I'll take some money and not have to go to finals. That would be totally fine.
Honestly.
And yeah, they pulled us all back, and 3 of the 4 of the main cast had not acted since the second one. So
Wow, that makes me so nervous just thinking about going back into something after not doing it for so long.
well, they also sent us the script, and it was totally fine. I'm sure. Have you seen the third one?
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever it
It's
first
been
came
a
out.
while,
Yeah.
but I remember watching
That's
it.
fine. Don't rewatch it. So we got the original script, and it was totally fine. It made sense. And then we didn't get a rewrite at all. So which is not normal. You normally get a rewrite every week until you go to shoot, and then they still do a couple little rewrites after the read through at the table. We did not get one. And so I was like, oh,
What have I done?
Yeah.
Can I back out now?
So what happened was Disney was not super interested in doing this project. They were just doing it because of fan interest. So once we got down there, they were like, oh, remember your budget? Yeah, we're going to cut that a whole bunch. So the script that we had got rewritten conservatively 25 different times.
Jeez.
And we would not know, not only would we not know what we were shooting the day of, we would not know our lines until they handed them to us prior to the one read through we got.
Stop.
And the one take we got. Unless we really, really messed up.
Oh my God.
So I just want to say that for everyone watching. What is happening? We didn't know. We didn't even know what it was going to be in the end. We at a certain point we're just like,
We're here. Let's just finish it.
Yeah.
Oh my
And it took so
gosh.
long to come out because it was a train wreck. I mean, it was I had no idea what it was going to be, and I watched it, when it came out,
Yeah.
obviously, and I was like, okay,
Mhm.
right, that was that. Okie
And we're moving
dokie.
on. What?
Giving you one
It
take,
was,
it might as well have been a documentary at that point. Just keep
and
rolling.
I my only acting was being a young kid, and all of a sudden I had to like try to I didn't know what I was doing
What a
at all.
reintroduction to
Oh
acting.
yeah.
And I was
Not
alone. My mom didn't have to come because I was 18. And during the
mm,
whole thing, I was like, dang, I wish you were here. I need someone to run lines with, dude.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Wow. They really kept you on your toes.
Again, no idea.
Oh my
Anytime.
gosh.
Yeah.
Was that then the last thing that you acted in?
When that happened, then I was like, I might as well try it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I did like a commercial. I don't even think it aired. And then this also is going to sound like I'm being a butt, but I'm a small person,
Hmm.
and someone that was related to my representation told me that I needed to lose like 20 pounds,
Ugh.
which I don't have
Uh
anywhere to really lose it from.
uh
And I said, okay, bye.
We're done.
yeah,
We're done here. Yeah,
bye.
that's
A hard bye.
yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Ugh.
Well, then we have to talk about these amazing tattoo images behind you and your Instagram. Like I was just scrolling through, like your work is incredible.
Thank you so much.
How did you get started becoming a tattoo artist?
So I've always been a little weirdo. And I've always drawn and painted and done all that stuff. Where I grew up, I know this sounds weird living next to Los Angeles, but I was 30 miles away, and it's not the same thing as it is now where you can just like pop anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
So where I grew up, tattoos were not a thing. I think we had one tattoo shop. I didn't even know about it till I was a tattooer,
Mhm.
and no one had tattoos. The only people I knew with them was my neighbor who was in like World War II with like two, and then my dad had one tattoo, and he always said that he almost passed out during it.
During it.
But I thought they were so sick. And then I had kind of refrained from getting any because when I was 18, I did the au pair thing, and for a second I was like, oh, am I going to do this again? And you can't really be covered in tattoos and
Sure.
do that. So finally I was like, well, I'm not doing this. So I started getting tattooed. And then I had an apartment in a crappy part of Hollywood, and a tattoo shop opened up around the corner from my apartment. And it was like an old school, just like exactly what you think of as a tattoo shop. And it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I watched it get built, and I had a dog at the time, and I would, make sure to walk it by the shop every night and like look in and wait for them to like get open. And I finally got up the nerve to go in there and get tattooed. And then, we knew all the same people in the area.
Uh-huh.
And then I started hanging out there, started dating the owner because of
Oh,
course I did.
nice.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Not nice.
No. And I really wanted to learn how to tattoo, but I never wanted to make him think that's like why I was around.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I can't.
totally.
And then one day he asked me, and I said, yup, and started that process of apprenticeship and stuff. Didn't work out with him for many, many reasons. I'm still grateful that it was not good, but like, I'm still grateful for that. I was kind of floating for a little while without a shop to be at. Found another shop to work as like a front person because I knew how to run a tattoo shop.
Mhm.
And with the promise that I could tattoo my friends and like get into it a little bit more. That part never came to fruition. But very luckily, I became friends with the other guys that worked at that shop that left there as well. And we went up to a tattoo convention in the Central Valley of California.
Mhm.
And I ran into a dude named Albert Scambati, who I had worked with at the first tattoo shop. And he asked me what I was up to, and I was like, nothing good, dude, trying. And he was there with a guy named Ron Bianco, who, so Albert Scambati had started a shop on Long Island in 95. Okay. And Ron Bianco had learned from Albert Scambati and currently owned the shop on Long Island. And on the last day of the convention, Ron came up to me and said, "You want to come work for me?" And I said, "Sure." And I packed up all my shit and moved across the country the next month. And then I became a full-fledged tattooer. And here I am now.
The rest is history.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Wow.
I will just say David does not have any tattoos.
I don't.
Fine.
Just
They're not.
no, but I think you want one, right?
I would. I just don't know what I would get.
The first one's the toughie for
what
sure.
What was your first one?
My first one was that little guy right there, 918, upside down. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I ever think of something, I'm gonna fly out and yeah.
Well, I do come back to LA occasionally too.
Oh, great. We'll make it happen. Have you ever had anybody come in for a tattoo and then realize that you were in Smart House or Brink or anything like that?
I want to say twice where they didn't know already.
Okay.
And you can kind of see the look of, I know you.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, I mean, I still will never be like, "Well, did you know I was on TV?"
Lead with that.
Very weird vibe. And they're like, "No, we ran into each other at Price Chopper,"
Yeah. Yeah, and then they just leave.
No, but there's been a couple that have been like, "Are you, that?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're like, "You want a Smart House tattoo? I'll do it."
Yeah. I've done a few Brink tattoos.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
That is really cool.
Brink is by far the coolest Disney Channel original movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. You were in two of like the all-time
coolest.
greats. Yeah. And then tell everyone how they can keep up with you. Do you have like a website for your tattoo shop, or is it just your Instagram?
So I just do Instagram. I have my personal one, which is KTV Tattooer. And then the Instagram for the shop is d.m.c.tattoo.
Awesome.
Okay.
And that's where all the happenings happen.
Congratulations on everything. It's like
it seems like such a success. I mean, look, listeners can't see, but behind you, it looks like you're exactly where you're meant to be.
It is. It's I just opened this place in May of last year.
Oh, okay.
This is my 14th year of tattooing. And
awesome.
So pretty great year. I'm only 10 minutes away from my house. So I get to be very close to my kid's school should anything happen. And she comes here and works, and she's she does stuff with, like, we do stuff with the community, and she's done days where she gives out temporary tattoos to people.
That's so cute.
Cool.
I just get to have all of my friends that I've made from the past 14 years of tattooing come here and tattoo with me, and we just have a good old time.
Oh, that sounds awesome. We're genuinely so happy for you. That just sounds awesome.
Thank you for walking us down memory lane for you and revisiting some of these movies. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was so nice to meet you.
Thank you, guys.